reason it's here is because I didn't have anything to do tonight because Father Mike called me at 5 o'clock. He asked me if I would fill in, so I said, okay, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do Tuesday and Friday, Wednesday, I mean. The two holidays are real interesting ones. Shrove Tuesday uses the word shrove. I don't know where I could find that word, look up. I did not. But they say that means on that day you are shriven of your sins. God bless you to find out what shriven is. But just in general, talking with each other, any kind of information we come up with here, if you have something you want to add to it or a question like that, please do. No problems with interrupting. But it's a fixed period from the 2nd to the 9th of March is for Shrove Tuesday. And as it tells us in the order this year, it's on the 14th of February. And Easter on the 31st of March. The Shrove refers to the confession of sins as a preparation for Lent. It's a common practice in Europe in the Middle Ages. There are so many little segments of the world, the European world especially, where different little rites get involved in the church, and they're not official. But then they take the official one and make it official. And you'll see that happens here because in many places it's often celebrated with parades. Mardi Gras, which is French for Tuesday big. So Big Tuesday, big deal. And also well known as Pancake Day, known as Shrove Tuesday. Tradition feast between the start of Lent and Ash Wednesday. And again, Lent, 40 days leading up to Easter was traditionally time of fasting on Shrove Tuesday. And the Christians and Anglo-Saxons went to confession and were shriven, absolved from their sins. And a bell would be rung to call people to confession. This became called the pancake bell. And it's in the Anglo-Saxon areas. So you will see that in the Boston, in the London, you name it, it's here. And Shrove Tuesday, this is an interesting one, I didn't realize this. It always falls 47 days before Easter, so the date varies from year to year from 3 to 9 March. It was the last opportunity to use up eggs, fats, and backing on the Lenten fast pancakes. The pancakes were an easy way of getting up and using up all those fiddles with your sugar, your salt, your flour, your oils, and because otherwise they would go to waste. And the pancake it's got a long history showing cookery books as far back as 1439. And the tradition of tossing or flipping them is almost as old. And with the 1619 language level, the ingredients for pancakes can be seen to symbolize 4 points of significance at this time of the year. Eggs, creation; flour, the staff of life; salt, wholesomeness; and milk, purity. And there's you come down here and you see there's a little bit of a recipe here for it, showing that they hit a little oil in the frying pan, pour enough batter in, and it goes on to those details. We have adopted that in the church here for the Shrove Tuesday because we have pancakes. A large number of people are dressing up and racing up and down streets. And the deal of tossing pancakes is another tradition. You get a frying pan, put a little bit of oil in it, get a pancake going, and you run this race. And it's interesting. They make eight or so pancakes there, continue cooking and that sort of stuff. They flip the pancake over to brown the other side. And the pancake races form an important part of the Shrove Tuesday celebrations in the United Kingdom. The large numbers of people in fancy dress run down the street tossing pancakes. The object of the race is to get to the finish line first, carrying a frying pan with a cooked pancake in it and flipping the pancake as you run. Well, that should be a panic.
A little bit different from running of the bowls, right? It's the running of the pancakes.
And the most famous pancake race is in Olney, Buckinghamshire. According to the tradition, in 1445, a woman of Olney heard the shriving bell while she was making pancakes and ran to the church in her apron, still clutching her frying pan. The Olney pancake race is now world famous. People have to have local housewives, and they must wear an apron and a hat or a scarf. The contestant has a frying pan containing a hot pancake. She has to toss it 3 times during the race, and the first woman to complete the race and arrive at the end serves her pancakes to the bell ringer, and she's kissed by him as the winner. And it's also many customs pertaining to food. As I said before, getting rid of the food left around. They try to get rid of it because it's going to be gone for 40 days and they have to throw it away. So that's when they had the big feasts, which led up on this. So that, I think, kind of covers most of that. For any further discussion, please let me know. Now, Ash Wednesday in Western Christianity is the first day of Lent, occurring 6.5 weeks before Easter, depending on the date of Easter. And it's going to fall on the 14th of February. It's a solemn reminder of human mortality and the need for reconciliation with God. The beginning of penitential Lenten season is often observed with the ashes and fasting. Eastern Orthodox churches begin Lent on Sunday and clean Monday, and they do not observe Ash Wednesday. In the early Christian church, the length of the 19-day observance varied, but eventually began 6 weeks before Easter. So you never knew when Easter was going to come because they'd bounce up and down at random. But then they established it at 4 weeks. But that only provided 36 days of fasting, since you don't count Sundays. So they stuck 4 days in. That took care of that. So that established the 40 days of memorial of Christ in the desert.
I didn't realize you didn't fast on the Sunday.
Yeah, you don't
So
fast
it's like
on
this
Sundays.
40 days of fasting is
Right.
40 days,
Correct.
Monday through Saturday,
Yes,
and not Sunday.
not Sunday.
Did
How
not
about
know
that?
that.
That's why if you go to a good Southern Baptist church, you can have all day sing, supper on the ground, fried chicken, salvation, 50 cents.
One of the things that historically the preparation for the restoration to the sacrament of Eucharist, the penitents were sprinkled with ashes, dressed in sackcloth, and obliged to remain apart until they reconciled with the Christian community on Thursday, I mean. When these practices slowly fell into the disuse between the 8th and 10th century across all of the English-speaking people, the beginning of the penitent season of Lent was gradually symbolized by placing ashes on the foreheads of the congregation. Together with Good Friday marks the crucifixion of Jesus before Easter. Ash Wednesday was a day of fasting and abstinence, where traditionally only one full meal and no meats were to be consumed. This practice is more relaxed now. Although Ash Wednesday is not a holy day of obligation, it is traditionally one of the most heavily attended non-Sunday masses in the liturgical year. It was the practice for penitents and grievous sinners to begin their period of public penance on the first day of Lent in preparation for their restoration to the sacrament of Eucharist. They were obliged to remain apart until they were reconciled with the Christian community. And in the modern Anglican Church, the ashes obtained by burning psalms on the previous Palm Sunday applied as a reminder of our mortality and the transitory nature of earthly pleasures. They often applied with some variation of words. Remember, O man, that thou art but dust, and to dust thou shalt return. And that brings to mind two little humors. A little girl in church with her mother, and they're going with the ashes. And she said, "Remember, O man, that thou art but dust, and to that dust shalt thou return." The little girl says, "Mommy, what's but dust?" And to dust thou shalt return. And then there's a line that goes with that. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, look out for hell of sun without no rust. But today the ashes are imposed on the forehead of in the shape of a cross on each worshiper on Ash Wednesday. The ashes are symbolic of our human immortality and the need for reconciliation with God. And I did plagiarize this shamelessly from several sources.
So why is the palms from Palm Sunday used then?
Because the palms were sanctified, they were blessed, and they didn't throw them away. So waste not, want not, you had these to do it with.
So-
And then you had to burn the palms anyway. So you're gonna do that, save some, and use it for Ash Wednesday.
So I used to, one of the churches I belonged to before, they used to ask people to bring their palms, crosses in
yeah.
from the previous year, and then
Right.
I don't know if they ever got used for Ash Wednesday, because it's very hard to burn palm.
Oh, yeah.
But I know that we used to collect them in a basket in the narthex at the
Right.
church, and as, you know, tell people to bring their palms back to.
I used to have
So now what do we do with our palms?
well, I used to have a fire outside,
Yeah.
and that is gone. But what I used to do is I used to take it home, all the extras, and I'd burn them there. And I find that burning them now creates quite a challenge. The biggest thing is find some way to get as as dry as you can get it, and then get a charcoal fire going, and when it's nice and white, start feeding the palms in. That's about the only thing I've seen, and that still leaves a residue.
Yeah, to get hot, not to.
But
Interesting.
anyway, that covers the general details of Ash Wednesday and Shrove Tuesday. It's interesting because there are so many little glitches in there, different things that people do.
Is most of the time growing up, the only people that I saw with ashes were Episcopalians and Catholic. Is this done in other churches?
I think Lutheran,
It-
some synods of the Lutheran Church might still
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, it is.
I think the Missouri Synod
Yeah.
might.
It's not universal. Occasionally a small church with some, no congregation to join, an independent group, they may, for something different in the service, call the people for an Ash Wednesday. But,
And some
Formally.
Eastern Orthodox churches do it also, but not all.
right,
I think it's pretty much restricted commonly to what you might call the sacramental apostolic succession churches.
as you said, the Orthodox churches, they're the Eastern European,
Some do.
and they're the
Yeah,
ones that
some
don't.
do.
But most
They have
don't.
White Monday.
Yeah, there are some that do and some that don't.
There are a few that do. I think
Interesting.
the Syriac Orthodox, of course, Syria's weird anyway, because they got both Syriac Catholic and Syriac Orthodox in the same country.
Yeah,
So in doing that, then they don't really do the whole Lent. They don't have a beginning. They have an Easter, but
They
they
have
don't
an Easter?
necessarily do the
Is that
whole.
the Greeks?
they typically
Season?
do not celebrate
And,
the Shrove Tuesday, Ash Wednesday.
and with the Orthodox churches, their Easter is a week after ours.
Right, the Greeks.
The
Oh.
Greeks and
The Russian.
the
and
Russian and
Romanian,
all of the,
Russian, and Ukrainian, and Serbian, and, yeah, all
yeah,
that.
their Easter is a week after ours.
Well, throughout the year, there are certain feasts which are not celebrated by us, but they're celebrated by that group and the other. If you want to have some fun, get a hold of a Roman calendar, a Roman ordo, and our ordo, compare down the line. And you'll see, this one has Gabriel and this one doesn't have that, and, you know,
Right.
Yeah, I did notice that some of the saint days have been moved,
yeah.
so, from what are, different from between the
The,
two.
the comment on that is, it makes no difference where they
Well, I
put
don't
those days.
remember them either, but I remember the concept.
Easter,
of the difference.
Christmas, Good Friday, good enough.
That works for me.
That in the Nicene Creed somewhere.
But, you know, it's,
Well, as Anglicans, we love to come to eat, so
Oh, yeah.
that's why Shrove Tuesdays is so big.
Absolutely.
Well, everything around here we eat, we'll never stop.
Let's eat on Wednesdays, let's eat on Shrove Tuesday.
No need to
Sunday,
try to
Saturday.
diet.
yeah, but there's a lot of Anglicans on Ash Wednesday say to their buddy, hey, I'll meet you over at Burger King.
Yeah, right.
The service is over. But at one time, it was pretty much universal with the Roman Church and the Anglican churches, that they did celebrate this, and they did have formal rites. In the 1500s, they were still using sackcloth and ashes, which is, and that's the same.
Burlap bag and a,
Well, that's the same time that the 1549 activities in England took place.
No more Cuban cigars for you. Well, I wish.
that was very good, thank you.